Hey there guys, what's going on? Welcome back. It's your boy Johnny, and today we are out on the rocket trying to have all of the fun. Well, not trying, hardly trying, on what is to me the absolute best wheel of 2026. Okay guys, so welcome back. We absolutely have so many crazy things to talk about, and first and foremost, I am going to be retiring that intro. Somebody made like a snarky comment about it a couple of weeks back, and they were saying that the intro looked cool, but the helmet, the TSG, that it was irresponsible of me to perhaps be promoting the TSG. And I said, you know, and I can learn. We can all grow. I don't know what you guys think about this issue, and if you have any further insights or commentary, please chime in, because I am learning, you know? And so for me, in my mind, I was like, okay, well, if the TSG is good at like 80, 90 miles an hour, then, you know, in downhills, then it should totally be good for what we do. But it took into consideration nothing about the center of gravity or the way that, you know, these wheels ride versus how like downhill skateboarders ride. And there we go. You know, that wasn't a helmet worthy situation there, but I landed a little bit off center of how I normally would have landed. This right here is probably a cleaner version of that. Now, back to the helmet. The center of gravity for these people when they're riding the longboards is so much lower and wider. So inevitably, they are more obliged to that slide when they're going downhill, right? Whereas we are so high up, and the center of gravity is much higher, and in this, we can go ass over tea kettle is how I like to say it. You can go end over end. And when I went end over end in my cutout last week on the Master Pro, I hit my helmet really good. I hit my head really good in a way that if I had been wearing my TSG back in the day, I would have concussed. I might have blacked out. There would have been a problem, right? And so, you know, as I'm learning, as I'm growing, I'm going to go ahead and say, as of right now, I genuinely feel like the minimum standard of care for your head should be, at the very least, a DOT approved helmet with a wide field of vision. In this case, the helmet that I like to use most is the Vega Air GPX, as you have all seen over and over and over again in my videos. That's the one that I have on right now. I like this helmet so much because it gives me access to my mouth during the playtimes when I'm riding. So if I want to drink some water from that little red hose, I can. If, you know, if I want to eat some food, I can. It's not a stifling experience at all. And you have a whole lot more visibility. So, yeah, I'm going to be retiring that intro. And if you haven't already switched over to a DOT style of helmet and you are riding at high speeds, you may be doing yourself a disservice. If you find that you're interested in an Extreme Bull Rocket and you want to get it from a dude with a whole lot of class and a whole lot of drive to serve and make sure that you are a very happy customer, and check out Next Gen Mobility. Rob Thale over there is living, sleeping, eating, drinking, making sure that you are happy with what you get. The Rocket that I'm riding does not have a off-road tire, as you can see. So me taking it out here on these trails, trying to ice skate, as it were. Johnny, bro, do you even ride, man? You're sitting here just sliding out left and right and falling and busting and just, what's wrong, bro? Like, I thought that you were some kind of EUC enthusiast. Okay, bro, fair enough. But look, I'm trying to talk about it, okay? Like, I don't know that anybody would have a better time trying to ride a wheel on this trail with a street tire. You know, it's nothing but leaves on top of leaves on top of leaves. And so it's a lot of slowing down, a lot of trying to make sure that you approach the corners without the speed, or at least being able to hit a little tiny baby berm so you don't end up losing your bootay like I just did. With its 100 millimeters of travel inside of this suspension, it is easily one of the best feeling suspension, the best, actually, I'll go ahead and just say the best feeling suspension of 2025. 100 millimeters inside of a 14-inch kind of package just is crazy. And then that 168 volt platform, along with the 4,000 watt C40 motor. I'm pretty sure that's what we got going on there, a 4,000 watt C40 motor. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what we got going on there. But it is a C40 motor, and it's just chonky. It's torquey. I love the way those C40 motors feel. Ever since the V14, I just knew that that was my cup of tea. And having a wheel that is this size that can easily blast its way all the way up to 50 miles an hour is nuts. And if you're a Roger Hajali, then you can blast it all the way up to 56 miles an hour. I would not, however, recommend doing that on less than 50% battery. If you know how these batteries work, then you know that that could be a potentially dangerous situation to put yourself in. And I guess since we're on the topic of safety a little bit, as far as like the helmet situation goes, might as well go over the rest of the safety stuff that I absolutely believe in 110%. And that is the LazyRolling Jacket that I have on right now. The material on it is absolutely rigid, super duper strong. There's like Kevlar and stuff in there. We've got pads in there on the back, on the shoulders, on the elbows, and it's got a really nice snug fit, so it doesn't shift when you crash. It's a glove, right? And speaking of gloves, the gloves that I have on are the E-Rides P1 Max. Now, they have just recently been updated. You may have seen the short that I posted, but they have been updated. They now have a little window, like a clear pocket window that you can use to put a smart watch in if you wanted to, in order to monitor your wheel metrics from either Darkness Bot or EUC World. And there's a whole lot of peripherals that you can get into from even that space. And I know you can't see it right now, but I am actually wearing some knee pads. So just make sure that you wear competent knee pads that at least have a double hinge. Again, we're going to be getting into a ridiculous knee pad situation, but make sure that you've got that double hinge at your knee to allow for maximum mobility and coverage on the top side of the knee and also on the bottom side of the knee, not just across the front side of the knee. Like, you need that coverage on top, on the bottom, and preferably with a little bit of a shin guard, so that way you have more protection in the event of any incidental wheel kicking up, or in case you slip and you fall, you hit a curb, or there's a rock or anything like that. You just want to have the peace of mind of that protection. And the part that you don't protect is going to be the part that barks at you the loudest. People mess with me about my shoes, but I have like 5 pairs of these exact same shoes. And really, your best safety is just keeping your head on a swivel, because like, I wasn't going really fast at all right there, and guy jumped right up into the sidewalk area. And here again, jumping right up into the sidewalk area. And I don't have the right of way or anything like that. It is what it is, but just keep your head on a swivel, because if you run into that truck or you run into that car, that's your fault, not theirs. Now, safety is not all about the armor, right? Safety is also about prevention, and prevention has a lot to do with seeing and being seen, right? So seeing, what does that mean? It means you've got blind spots. The most gaping hole, the most glaring, the most glaring blind spot that you have is behind you directly, which is why I trust the PID Zoom mirror. The field of vision that I have behind me, utilizing the mirror, which admittingly is not the most aesthetically appealing thing. And for those of you who do prefer the wrist guard mirrors, I'm going to explain why I don't use it right quick. After I started hitting 42 miles an hour, I realized that for me, my body weight or whatever, my size, that's the magical speed. For all of you, it might be just a little bit different up or down. But at that speed, I found that when I would pick up my wrist mirror, my body would actually turn sideways, because I did have a wrist mirror configuration at one point in time. And so I'd bring my left hand up, and then my body would turn left. And I was like, whoa, this is not what I want to do. Whoa, I just want to see behind me. I don't want to go left. And so you got to be careful with that. And so what did I want? I wanted to opt in for a much more steady point of visibility that didn't require me to compromise my Aero at speed. Can you see why, for me, this is easily one of the best, if not the best wheel of 2025? And I'm probably going to go ahead and just give it the best wheel of 2025 vibes, because it is not necessarily the technology. It's not necessarily the safety. It's not necessarily anything like that. What it is innovation inside of a feel. The valent feel of what the rocket is, nothing else remotely compares to. It takes no effort to make it go. It goes faster than wheels that take tons of effort to make them go. And it has a suspension that squats all over everything that has been released this year. In my opinion, the P6 included. This suspension is just heavy duty, overbuilt for what this wheel is. And so it gives you so much robust feedback and spring lift into doing any of the little tricks that you want to do. Like right there, I mean, you can see this throughout the whole ride. That suspension is constantly going responsive, compressing during turns. When I push out of it, it accelerates out of the turn. I mean, it's just an amazing piece of kit. And while we talked about the blind spots that we have, we can often ourselves end up in the blind spots of other people. So it's like, if they can't see you or there's not something that is immediately grabbing about your presence, then you're lost inside of the periphery, right? So I have this little light on my shoulder. It's called a guardian angel, and it is recommended by police. It is recommended by all sorts of riding, motorcycle enthusiasts. It's recommended by tons and tons of people. And now it's recommended by one more person, me. The guardian angel guarantees visibility at nighttime, dusk, or dawn, when the fading light is making everything gray and almost invisible for a lot of people. If you've ever experienced this where you've been at a roundabout, specifically, this is where it happens the most for me, and it may be different for you. Like, just let me know. But for me, whenever I get into a roundabout situation, cars do not prioritize me. Cars do not go about trying to let me go or anything like that. And so if it's not wide open and clear, then I just have to wait, or I have to endure some kind of awkward arm wrestling match with a car or a truck or something like that. And it's just not fun, bros. So with the Guardian Angel, I turn that puppy on, and instantaneously, everybody treats my presence like an emergency. And that means they come to complete stops at the stop signs. They don't coast through. That means that if there's an opportunity for them to legally yield for me, then they do so, and I am grateful for it. And if it's not even a situation where they should necessarily yield, they slow down, they behave different when you have that flashing light on you. I think it's just like kind of a call to reality, like a reality check or something like that. So for me, for the dollar, the Guardian Angel is probably the most important piece of kit that you need for safety at nighttime. Now, circling back regarding visibility, I don't know if you can tell, but the silver on this jacket is actually super high vis material. So at nighttime, if there's a light that hits it, it actually looks like it's lit up. It actually looks like it's bright, like it's a flare on the road. And that is a second layer of support, of safety that I have. Last thing I want to talk about as far as like safety kind of stuff goes is the helmet. And then I got to circle back to the shoes. But the helmet shouldn't be black. It shouldn't be like hard to see. You want it loud colors. You want that top spot to be completely visible to whoever out of the periphery, just to be able to catch you. Because if they don't see you, you could die. Lastly, shoes. Shoes they're kind of their own thing, man. Like, people have all sorts of different ideas about what is important when it comes to shoes. Now, for some people, they feel like they need their ankles covered up. They want ankle protection. Some people want boots up to the shin. Some people want those motorcycle shoes, and I get every single one of those things for a reason or another. But for me, the reason why I use these shoes is because the sole is super duper thick. The rubber on the sides of the shoes rides up really, really high, so it creates a lot of control for any of my lateral inputs. So there's very little flexion in the sole. It's a thick sole, very little flexion, and so it gives lots of feedback the right way into the wheel. It's ultimate control for the wheel. I like having the ankle mobility and the flexibility. I find and I have found that if you're wearing boots and your ankle is rigid, then any of that sideways flexion that you use to like move your foot in or out is now lost. And that has to be relegated up through the leg, up through the lower leg into the knee. So you have to have this lateral motion taken care of at the knee. And you may not be able to do that very well, right? So you're kind of protecting your knee, but protecting your ankle at a sacrifice to your knee. Additionally, you may, if you have a boot that goes up to, say, your mid shin or something like that, you could actually even fracture that bone there. I think it's your tibia, your tibialis. I forget what tibia, the one, and then there's like one behind it. I forget that off the top of my head, which is bad personal trainer thing, but I get it. But you could break those bones right there because you have support up to that mid shin, right? And if you go down sideways, that will be the break point at that mid shin, because everything is supported except for that fulcrum, which is what happens at the top of your boot. You have a fulcrum for your bone to snap. And so these are the things that go into consideration for me. Everybody is different. I don't think that there is a wrong choice as far as shoes go, as long as you have thought it through. Back to the personal trainer thing, it's like being a vegan or a carnivore or whatever it is that you are. You can be whatever you want to be. Just be mindful about what the hell you're putting in your face. And as a personal trainer, I will be so happy to serve you. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to come out, rip on my rocket. I had a couple of things that I wanted to throw down and talk about, but this wheel is so much fun. It punches way above its weight and its pay grade. Big thanks to every single subscriber out there. Big thanks to all of my channel members. You guys absolutely rock, and I'm hoping that you have a fabulous holiday season, whether it is Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, and Festivus for the rest of us. I just hope that you find some shit to celebrate and don't be a curmudgeon-y Grinch this season, all right? Anyway, it's been your boy Johnny. Take care, live long, prosper, all that Vulcan stuff, guys. Peace.